Just give him a ring if anybody wants to come inside for that. Without further ado, we'll hand you over to our groom today, Padraig.
Thank you, Padraig Bill. Well, I guess the first job I have to do today is to introduce you all to my lovely new wife. After this length of time, saying the word wife is difficult. It's unusual, I have to say. I asked Carol about 2 weeks ago, I said, over the last 2 years, how many times have you referred to me as your fiancé? And she said, never. And I said, that's okay, I've never referred to you as my fiancé. So we're so used to the idea of saying boyfriend, girlfriend, partner, cohabitating partner. That's a census form, sorry, census form. And again, I even said to Carol a while ago, we're having a quick pint there before we came in, which was lovely, a few minutes together. And I just constantly, I'm doing this. I have a bit of a rash or a little burn on my finger already. No, I'm not trying to take it off. Not yet, no. I'm not trying to take it off, but it's the first bit of jewellery I've ever had in my life. So we went ring shop and did all this. It was a brand new experience to me. She loves it, I don't. But anyway, I guess also, today is 2 years in the planning. I think Caroline did a great job. She's not here now, herself, but Caroline, she did a fantastic job earlier on. We met her back in April. She's, I don't know what we went for, we kind of said a sound granny. That's what we were looking for. And she was brilliant. And she's not here tonight, but no, she's Cork bred and she's very happy to have us come down and celebrate this down here. But she made it sound like it was a predetermined plan that we would come to Dunmore House. Like we always dreamt about this. But the one thing that me and Carol, we're great for each other in so many ways. But the one thing we're not good at is we're both such procrastinators. We don't plan, we don't organise things brilliantly. So after we got engaged, kind of true to form for me and Carol, we were 6 months after getting engaged, and we hadn't done a thing about organising a wedding. So we made a little plan together. We said, right, we're going on holidays to West Cork for a week. When we come back from West Cork, we have to go visit these places that we thought we might want to get married. And get our act together because time was dragging on and we're already 19 years before we got engaged. And then we were down here for a week's holidays, and I want to do a quick geography lesson, but Ross Carbery's that way, didn't say it that way. And we were down for the day in Ross Carbery, and we were driving past the hotel here, which we know, and the weather was like it was earlier on today, or in the morning if anyone was here, it was blue skies, sunshine, and we drove past the hotel. I think Carol said something like, that's some view, what about here? And we just said, that's it, done, that was it. Now, it might also because we didn't want to go through the effort of looking at some of your places. But this place has always had a special meaning to us. It never came up at the start for some reason, but once we thought about it, there was no plan B, and it was brilliant. And I hope everyone who's been here today appreciates what we love about this place. And again, I have to mention the star of the show today. A friend of mine, Brian Casey, he's going to try and put him forward for a sainthood, but the Child of Prague was a big part of the success today. My mother had out this morning, and if you were looking at the weather apps, which we have every day, multiple weather apps for the last few days, we were expecting, what it was yesterday. It was a horrendous drive yesterday, and you couldn't see out to the ocean from here. But then this morning I was down on the beach with the two boys, myself, Ray and Sean. I know Caroline made a reference to going out for a puck around the hurls and the slitters out on Inchicounty Strand this morning. It was blue skies, sunshine, and I was just like, please God, don't peak too soon. it held good. So anyway, as I said, look, it's a bit surreal to be here after planning this for so long, but to be here, it's an amazing day. Myself and Cara trying to catch our breath over the course of today. Our photographers, Justina, we kept on our toes. Justina was with me earlier on today, but and they had a great idea to bring us out earlier on before the ceremony as well to kind of take pictures together, which kind of eased the nerves as well. But just to get those photos today is brilliant. So thanks, guys. Appreciate all that. I don't see Peter Peter around, do I? No, Peter, no, he's not here anyway, but this is a family-run hotel. Every time we talk about this area, we talk about Inchydoney. Inchydoney is kind of where we had our kind of childhood almost, you know. It was bigger than Christmas for us growing up. We kind of had an arrangement with the parents, you know, an unwritten arrangement with the parents that when we come down here for a week, we're not going to see you, you're not going to see us. And just survive, it's okay. And we got up to all sorts of mischief and everything. And people have asked me, well, you know, why don't you get married in Inchydoney? Why do more? Well, first of all, the view, because the view is just spectacular, and it really is. Second of all, the food, because we're foodies, and Peter, I can't say him, but the family here do a fantastic job. And they're Michelin guide at this stage. And you know, they're putting West Cork on their map all the time, which is great. Third piece is that it's a family-run hotel, which does mean a lot to us. That's a corporate monster over there. We don't want to be associated with that. And then the fourth thing, which I don't think I ever told Carol, was that I actually got barred from Inchydoney Hotel. So Fergus might remember this, but when we were about, I think I was 15 or 16, and we were impersonating guests, and we were trying to get drinks ordered to the snooker room. And we got chased out of the hotel, and we were setting off the fire alarms and everything, and jumped out the window. Thanks very much, yeah. And I had this image in my head of, you know, some disgruntled employee 25 years later looking at me rocking up on my wedding day going, I'm going to get my revenge today. So I played it safe and just went for Dunmore. But no, honestly, I'm sure everyone here has had lovely meals. I'm sure you've had a lovely experience today. And yeah, look, Peter, again, I can't see him, and Carol's his mother, and Richard's his father. Family-run hotel since 1948. Please come back if you can, but they do a brilliant job here. So build a bus for the Dunmore House Hotel. Next thing I would say is, again, go back to me and Carol not necessarily having this, again, probably because we're together so long, people might have thought that we had some wedding plan we were always going to implement once we got engaged, once I got down on one knee eventually. And, you know, even when we picked this venue, we weren't too sure what we were going to do, small wedding, big wedding and everything. But we kind of said, look, let's just go for it, let's go for it. I think it's a big wedding anyway in my head. I have to say, the one thing that stood out today, the one thing even we were taught we should have before we came into the room, is just seeing everyone here. Like, to see everyone and the effort that everyone's made to get here, you really have elevated this day to us, you know, to a completely different level. So we're forever grateful to you guys for all making the effort to come here. It's been a magical day for the two of us. We'll definitely never forget it. And the night is still young. So all I ask you to do is to drink, dance, in that kind of order. And again, like there's over 90 people hanging around tomorrow. Clonakilty have a big festival on tomorrow. The weather, touch wood, Child Pride gets another show tomorrow. And we'll go again, you know, so it's brilliant for us. So look, thanks so much for being here. It really means the world to us. I just want to do a quick rip around the top table here, because you do know some people, you might know everyone here, but start over here, it's my two brothers. So my two brothers, Fergus and Bill and Fergus, he's the oldest of course. And their respective partners, wives, fiancé. So Flo and Bill and Flo, by the way, it's I think in about 10 days or 12 days or something like that, it's their 16-year wedding anniversary. In fairness to Flo, you've barely aged since that wedding day. Bill. And then Fergus and Louisa, they are engaged, you know, so they not recently, now, you know, wait for a few more drinks on them, go over and talk nicely to them, and you might get invited to another wedding soon. Now, Bill and Fergus have their own challenge tonight. For anyone who's on the stag in Seville, you might have noticed that it was tough for the lads to stay up past 12 o'clock. You know, they did a bit of a Cinderella job. Once it became 12 o'clock, they just disappeared. But he's trying to count 5 days. But you know, I think what tripped them up in Seville was the fact they went for naps in the afternoon. So I didn't let them go for a nap today. So you know, touch wood now. 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock, maybe even 2 o'clock. You might last the pace tonight. So it's it's something I believe you can do. So, Over to the other side then we have Valerie and Phil. Valerie, maid of honour / bridesmaid / sister / best friend. A big applause for Valerie. You know, in fairness to Carol, she's fairly chilled. She doesn't get too stressed, but you know, Valerie does a fantastic job. She's been a brilliant sister, and in terms of a role of maid of honour and bridesmaid, she's been fantastic from the start. She probably got lucky with Carol. I do mean when I say she doesn't get too stressed, or you know, she's incredibly chilled out. I think I'm chilled out, and then Carol brings it to a whole other level, which makes me look stressed, but I'm not. But we kind of had an easy ride with Carol. When it came to even picking out the engagement ring, I took a day off work, with the idea that we'd go from shop to shop to shop, and then maybe we'd go another day. And we walked into the first shop, and after 20 minutes, boom, that was it, done. I thought this is supposed to be hard. And then Valerie went wedding dress shopping with Carol, and Carol's there kind of going, this is the one thing that I'm not looking forward to. I think it's going to be a challenge for me now. They went up to this place up in Kinsey, some boutique shop, and she came home, she goes, oh, yeah, third dress I tried on. I was like, done. So she's been relatively easy, relatively chill. And thanks for organising the hen as well, Valerie. She did a great job. Everyone had a great time with the Carol's Pass. And then we have Dermot and Anya. Dermot and Anya, again, I think it's next month in July is their 20-year wedding anniversary. So that was my introduction to the wider Williams / Highland clan. I'm going to with Carol 21 years, and I think Derry actually just had at the dinner table a while ago. I first got introduced to the Williams family on Stephen's Day 2004, and Carol's present to me back when I was into my horse racing. I still am a bit, but she was bringing me off to Leopardstown horse races, so I rocked up to meet the family, meet the parents for the first time. It wasn't just the parents that was meeting for the first time, it was also Philip, Valerie, Dermot and Anya. And they were all well established. So I'm the last person to join the gang. And then not too long after that was your wedding in July of 2025, or 2005, Jesus. And that was my introduction to everyone else in the family. And I was actually saying to Carol yesterday, I just remember not too long after that I was down here on my usual week. And I was in the infamous Bubble Lounge in the Emma Hotel, and I was like, oh my god, that's Carol's uncle over there. And I said, who the hell is it? Because they all look the same to me at this stage. I know he's not here today, sorry. I got even more confused when I was trying to say, was it Enda or Jimmy or Enda? Who was it? I was like, no, it's Enda. And someone tried to tell me, no, that's not Enda, that's Frank. I was like, what the hell is that mean? So it got very confusing, but it's, yeah, look, it's been great so far. So look, that's the people here. We have Derry, Carol's dad, and my own mother here, Anne-Marie. And then, unfortunately, my own dad couldn't be here today. He, I don't want to call it awfully thick-headedness, but he could have been here, you know, ideally he'd have been here, but kind of just run himself into the ground a little bit, and as unfortunately, you know, a virus caught up with him, and he just couldn't make it, unfortunately. He'd love to be here. We wish he was here, of course we do. But you know, unfortunately, just didn't work out in the end. Of course, you know, we have a picture over there of Carol's mum, Angela. Anytime me and Carol have a special occasion, Angela's always close to our thoughts and memory. We've been so lucky over the years, myself and Carol. We've got to celebrate some massive occasions together, and Carol's mum's always close to our thoughts. So yeah, as I said, one of my first memories ever with Derry and Angela was meeting Carol on Stephen's Day 2004, and I always remember thinking I was doing a good job of introducing myself to the family, because I was sat up on the kitchen table with Derry and Angela having drinks, and I even got so brave. I didn't even smoke back then, but I scanned a cigarette off Angela because I just thought, I'm in here, I'm getting on great with them. And Carol was in the front of the house, and she's kind of looking at me, patting on the couch, going, like, sit beside me. Like, what are you doing over there with them? But I was like, no, I'm doing good here now. This is grand. I said, I don't want to break the flow. So anyway, look, you know, in short, our parents over the years have been just fantastic to us. Their generosity in so many different ways, so many different forms is hard to describe. Probably the simplest way I could just talk about our parents and our relationship is that like, we're really good mates with them. Like, we go on holidays with them every year. We're up in Donegal with Derry last year. We're always down in Clonakilty, West Cork with my parents here. So yeah, we get on so well with them, and they're brilliant to us. And yeah, days like today, just appreciate them all the more. So build a bus for the parents as well. Now the next table I just want to have a quick appreciation for is the table number 2, is it? Yeah, the kids. So I guess the next generation in our family. And it's great to see them here today. I think for our own 3 kids, they're kind of spoiled. They're the 3 youngest kids of our next generation, so they have all the older cousins to look up to and to buzz off and to annoy. I don't think they have a clue what's going on, to be honest with you. But I would say Reen and Sean did fantastic jobs earlier on with their readings. Like it's not an easy thing to do, it really isn't. And Molly, you know, doesn't have to do too much, she just has to be Molly. She's just fantastic all day, she's like a princess. And, even though she's the youngest, and she's been cutting her hair and makeups since 8:30 this morning, she's kind of just, she's really absorbed everything and she's just taken to it so well. We didn't have the best of sleeps last night. We kind of preempted that we wouldn't, you know, staying in a hotel room with the 3 kids. So we did a bit of musical chairs between 12 o'clock and 3 o'clock in the morning. And, but the only person who didn't budge, the only person who slept through it all, the only person who was no fuss, no messing, was Molly. And I will also make a special mention to Cara as well, because Cara's kind of the senior flower girl today. As you can see, the 2 girls in the same dresses, and like, you know, Molly just has the joy of looking up to Cara and hanging off her. It's brilliant, you know. She absolutely adores her older cousin, and yeah, Cara's done a great job as well looking after her today. So great to have Cara. Now, I guess going back to today, I suppose Carol has a different approach to me. Carol just gets on with things. She just moves with things and, you know, rolls at the punches. I always think about it and analyse it. And I suppose because we're coming to our wedding, you kind of do have those moments. So I think about stuff like, even though we're 21 years together, I would still say technically today, you know, we've spent more time together as a couple without kids than we have with kids. So we have this completely different life, I suppose, for the most part of our life together. And I think Caroline mentioned it earlier on as well about where we live, between our little apartments on Pearse Street, Dublin Castle, beside Dublin Castle for a couple of years. And all we did was, like I say, go out, late nights, you know, all this kind of stuff. No bothers in the world, holidays every time. I don't miss those days at all. I don't know what you do, but they're very overrated. But it is, like, I mean, we booked this wedding 2 years ago, so it's 2 years in the planning, but the reality is today is 21 years in the making. And 3 months ago we celebrated our 21-year milestone, or as Carol put it, 21 years of unwedded bliss. And we didn't really celebrate it in the normal way. We typically, for an anniversary, we jump off for a weekend, but this year was all consumed by the wedding, so it was hens, it was stags, and it was a tasting menu down here, which was brilliant as well. So we had a great time, but I just couldn't think of a better way to mark that milestone than doing what we're doing here today. It's an incredible thing to be able to do. I think there's a real sense of privilege to have been able to have a day like today and have family and friends and everyone to be here in the room with us. And you know, it's kind of a moment to celebrate what we've achieved together. And you know, even though we were quite immature back in the day, meeting in college and messing and all this kind of stuff, but like, you know, not too soon after college, me and Carol always had a clear vision as to what we wanted. We always knew what we wanted from each other. We always talked about having kids at an early stage. We always talked about buying a home. And we always did talk about getting married, but you know, when push came to shove, we always put this third on the list. Now, whether she was going to be thinking she'd be waiting 21 years for that marriage, I don't think so. I started panicking a while ago when I started seeing some of the nephews hitting 17, 18. I was like, well, if I don't get married soon, they're going to get married before I'll never live it down. So yeah, it's just, yeah, it's brilliant to be able to have this occasion and to celebrate that milestone and to do it with everyone here today. It's absolutely amazing. And of course, the last thing I want to do is just talk about Carol, of course. First of all, how stunning she is today. Just absolutely gorgeous. Sorry, it's not a wedding dress, it's a two-piece, is it? Sorry, three-piece, please. That bloody thing has been, it's been sitting up, hanging on the curtain rail in the bedroom for the last 3 months, and just the shadow has been coming on me for the last 3 months. You had it for 6 months as well, and I was just like, what is behind that bloody? I resist the temptation anyway. But to see it today was brilliant, and even the photographer's kind of built it up. The photographer's like, you're going to see Carol for the first time in her dress before the ceremony. But don't turn around till we tell you to turn around. And I could hear Carol creeping up behind me, and I was like, oh, yeah, it's time to turn around. But no, she was absolutely stunning. Just gorgeous. She's just so beautiful inside and outside. If there was a couple of things I'd say about Carol, she's just effortlessly kind, gentle and warm-hearted, and just so much fun to be around. And I was saying to her around about the kind of divide in the timeline that we've had, the 10.5 years that we had as a couple without kids, where we just, had such an amazing fun time together. But the 10.5 years with kids and as parents, they've just been just as, amazing and special and fun as well. Behind all the kind of late nights or early mornings, it's just when you're doing it with someone that you love and you want to be with, it's just effortless, really. So, absolutely brilliant to have her. She's just the most amazing woman I can ever imagine to have, and just how lucky I am. I'll finish up now. I forgot I was going to say something else. But if I was to describe how I feel about her, or the best way to talk about her in my life, is just how lucky I am that I got to meet my best friend and partner for life all those years ago, and to share this journey with her. So, yeah. Anyway, that's me done. So, thanks everyone.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it's a tough act to follow when you hear somebody speak from their heart so well on a wedding day. And I don't think I can remember a time like ever when I heard my brother, the youngest brother, speak in public. So to do it so well in your wedding day, I think that's absolutely fantastic. So So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, my name is Bill. I'm Padraig's eldest brother. I'm co-best man today with our other brother, Fergus. Fergus, who some of you may know from the Ghosts of Wedding Speeches Past, which explains why I'm standing up here today. Today is a fantastic celebration of the union of Carol and Padraig. But it's also an opportunity, ladies and gentlemen, to get to know a little bit more about our groom. But before I get to that, I'd just like to say thank you to everybody who's taken the time out of their incredibly busy lives to journey here to West Cork. It's not the easiest place to get to, especially with the weather that we've had over the last day or so. So I know a lot of you aquaplaned your way down the M8 to join us. And a special, thank you to everybody who's, journeyed here from longer distances. We know we've got a lot of people traveling from abroad to be here today, so that's really special. But that can also be said of our bride and groom, who've taken 21 years, 3 kids, a house, an extension of the house, and multiple cats before they got here today. But, you did make it. And that's the most important thing, so thank you very much for that. A special mention also to Rian, Sean and Molly, whose presence here today at the table of kids, teens and of course the preteens means that Uncle Billy has to keep this to a PG-13 speech, so I'll certainly try and keep that in mind. It is of course, as you know, traditional weddings for the groom's family to welcome officially the bride to our family. Carol, you know us all so well at this stage. You know what makes us tick. You know all of our idiosyncrasies. You've got a lot of dirt on within his family, and you're a kind of member of our family WhatsApp group. So you've been through it all, and you still show up, and thank you very much. So it's with immense pride and pleasure that I officially welcome you to our family. Although in truth you've been a fixture with us for so many years. So turning to Padraig. As many of you know, Padraig is sports fan. Hurling, rugby, football, horses, any kind of horse racing, horse jumping, flats, the whole thing. AFL, NFL, NRL, Formula 1. Essentially anything that can be put into an accumulator of petty powers. Padraig has tried it, and probably one of the accumulators in primacy. But Padraig isn't just an armchair sports fan. He's had a lot of success on the field. He has he's made us all incredibly proud down through the years. As most of you know, Padraig has represented pretty much all the age groups for Dublin hurling, from minor under 21 through to senior to county. He has played Fitzgibbon. Is it Fitzgibbon Cup for many years? Close. And has been a fixture on the St. Vincent's senior hurling team for many years. His success off the field, wink wink, in other matters, leaves a lot to be desired. As does his sense of fashion, which he's the only person I know who treats holes in his clothes as a air conditioning unit. And as we're going to see later on this evening, his dance sense is, what's the best way to describe it? It's almost like a religious experience. The number of people who are around him to just, praying for him to stop. Just stop. So, Padraig hasn't actually, left a huge amount of material for a best man speech, or at least none that, I can referring back to the table of kids, teens, preteens, mentioned. And so that's why Fergus and I, co-best man, called up a number of the ex-girlfriends to see if we could get a little bit of gossip. But of course, as most people here know, they didn't have much to say because they don't exist. Well, although you can say of sports that Padraig has, wide and varied interests and accomplishments. When it comes to matters of the heart, Padraig is very much a one-club man.
Yeah.
So Padraig and Carol have built an amazing life together with their children, their family, their friends all at the centre of it. Their college friends are still their best mates. They've travelled the world together, as Fergus and I learned at 5-day stag. We were fortunate to join, by the way. Thanks for putting these out of the WhatsApp group the next day. They travel the world together, and they still do. Every year, they travel around. They've shared, holidays, hangovers, and memories together over the last number of years. And I think it's really special, in this day and age, to have such a close group of friends, from college. And it's great to see that Padraig's and Carol's kids get to see that, because I think that bond is incredibly special. I don't think that exists in too many walks of life these days. So, it's something worth noting in church. Yep. Ladies and gentlemen, I realise that this speech stands between the kids and the wedding cake that they were promised. So I will keep this short and wrap things up. So ladies and gentlemen, if I could ask you to be upstanding and raise your glasses. To the couple who have already built a beautiful life together, and who today make it official. To love, laughter, and a future as happy as their past has been. To Carol and to Padraig.
Cheers. Where? Turkey. Yeah. I didn't. I don't know if the old man's going to do a speech now.